All right, the big things. What are the big things? Houses, cars, big things. You can have wife. Oh, we won't get into that. I'll leave that. So which should be your first home? Is this Pastor Jeff's first home here on the left? Yeah, I think he deserves that. I mean, he's one of those prosperity preachers, I think. He ought to have one of those, and along with his jet and all. Yeah, we need to provide that. But, or is the one on the right your first home or your only home? This is kind of like our only home, because it has two-car garage, it has 3 bedrooms, it has 2 baths. It's flat. I have no steps to go up. Our experience in our married life, we lived in 6 towns. We rented 5 houses. We bought 2 houses and remodeled them. We had built 2 houses, doing some of the work ourselves. So we've kind of been there and done that and made a few goofs here and there. So what we learned, the wrong decisions here can have long-lasting consequences. Houses and cars, lasting consequences. It's better to own than to rent. There's a fill-in-the-blank thing. It builds equity. You save a lot of money if you're able and willing to do some of the work yourself, construction or remodeling. You always have to think about resale. What we learned, what we also learned, we buy a home with at least 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2-car garage, the smallest house in the subdivision, not the largest, if transfer is possible, those of us who moved a lot. We buy a fixer-upper and give it the wow factor. What is a wow factor? You drive up and you say, wow, I like that. You know? Preferably not a corner lot, because people like more privacy. Please understand, I'm not trying to be critical of anybody here. If all you can afford is a mobile home, a tiny house, whatever, these are just my thoughts for having to resell. Also, if you live in a corner lot, they're cheaper to buy. Just understand that. It's cheaper to buy, but you're going to get less money than the other, because people don't like to look in the backyards of homes. So realtors say location, location, location. Finance people have to look at it, or people who deal with finances, all of us, have to say resale, resale, resale. You're going to sell sometime. Even if you die, your family's going to resale. You're going to have to sell. And I just remembered, as a church worker, we are just a passing through, spiritually and physically. What we continue to learn, when you buy, you must consider curb appeal. So what does curb appeal mean?
Landscape.
You do what?
Landscaping.
Okay.
Flowers, greenery.
Okay. But it's when you drive up to the curb, you say, I like that. It's just kind of the picture there. Now, our house here is like that first one there. We have a little bit of a raise, kind of up there. Is it better to have your house up on a pedestal kind of thing? Just a little slope. You don't want to mow a hill, but a little bit. Or is it better to have one that's down in the valley?
You don't want water going down.
Yeah. Water goes down. Yeah, it can be flooding area too. So curb appeal. You must not buy something too unique because you have to sell. Geodesic homes, a house on stilts, or log cabins. I love log cabins. They're beautiful, but it's only for limited people that want log cabins. So your market is narrower. Dave Ramsey said the house must have good bones. I should have used the word bones instead of good, but anyway, that's the fill-in. What does that mean? Structure. It's laid out nicely. You'd walk in and you don't see the bathroom door right there in front of you, or you don't have the kitchen right there as you walk in your house. It's laid out so it's pleasant when you go in. What we learned the hard way, after a lot of sweat equity, you still may lose money. We bought a house in Massachusetts. It was, 30 years old, something like that. We had some equity from our house that we sold in Orlando, about $30,000. We tore off an old rickety garage. We put an entryway in there. My wife and my wife is handy. I would be up on a ladder scaffolding, 2-story ladder scaffolding. Ladders with the scaffolding walking, it scared me to death. But I was younger then. I wouldn't do it now. It's up there. My wife was down there with the chop saw cutting off. We tore off all the siding of a 2-story Cape Cod house, and we put siding on, painted at both sides, put siding on, stainless steel nails. We meant it to last. So we did that, and we spent the $30,000 in fixing it up. I know, it looks beautiful. We re-landscaped it and everything. But when we sold it, like the Bible says, putting new wine in old skins, we didn't get it out. We didn't get the money out. So we lost $3,000 or $4,000, but that was peanuts compared to what we made, the appreciation from the houses that we had before. So sometimes you're going to lose some, but you have to count the cost. So if you don't want to buy an average home and then put in real expensive things inside, marble, something really expensive, marble entryways, whatever. So just keep that in mind. Buying an older house may require major maintenance if you live there several years. You have to replace the roof, like I mentioned yesterday. The HVAC had to be replaced. We had to do that in a house just recently. Rotten windows, I'm replacing that. I'll show you how to do that. Water lines, it broke. The water line from the street to the house. Septic tank, and we still get, it works. Water well. Our water well in Orlando got hit by lightning several times, so we'd have to pay to replace that. The benefits of home ownership: it builds equity, it gives tax deductions for interest and property tax, it gives you security, allows you to have your own style and design, it lets you keep your sweat equity. Buying versus renting. Buy if you will stay in that house 3 to plus years. If you buy a house for $200,000, sell it for 6% realtor fee commission, you've just lost $12,000, assuming no appreciation. However, if you rent for a year at $1,000 a month, you've also paid $12,000. So go past the year, and beyond that, you build equity, assuming appreciation or no appreciation. Just if it stays the same, you're building equity because you're paying that down. If the housing costs go down, then there's a possible loss too. And many of us experienced that in 2008. We still haven't recovered on our house that we have now, haven't recovered what it was. We bought our house in 2006, which was almost at the peak of that. So we're still recuperating, but it is increasing about 5% a year. So maybe by the time we move away, it'll be back up to where we bought it. Responsibility. There's a fill in the blank work there. The responsibility underlined in the heading. Responsibility of home ownership. You must pay taxes and property insurance. You must fix things that are broken. You must replace worn out roofs, paint, plumbing. You have to pay and abide by homeowner association fees if you have that, and some picky rules. In the course of my work, we've had to rent some houses that former employees had. We bought their house and we had to rent it, and they would send us letters and say, "You got mildew on the side of your house. You need to get that covered. You've left your trash can out at the street too long. You'll be in violation of your homeowner association." Well, we're in a homeowner association fee. We're in a subdivision that has a homeowner association, but there's no monitoring of that. And we pay maybe $50, $75 a year, if that, just to pay for the electricity at the front entrance and the upkeep of the sign. But fortunately, our neighbors keep it pretty decent. They keep, and we're right on the corner there, so we want to be an example to them. So we try to keep our house as good as we can. You have to be concerned about selling the house. There's an advertisement on now. I forget the name of it, but we'll take care of it for you. We'll buy your house. you just tell us what you want. We'll buy your house. In 24 hours, you'll have a quote. We'll close. We'll even help you move. Well, pardon?
There's a bunch of those.
Yeah. Now remember, there ain't no free lunch. Okay. Yeah, they're going to buy it, but what are they going to buy it for? And that brings another question to me. I hear people say, and I should not question God's leading, but I hear people say, you know, we put our house up for sale, and in one day, we sold the house. And I'm thinking, okay, was that a miracle, or was that you had the thing priced so low that it went too quickly? So I don't know. I guess I shouldn't think those thoughts, but you know, yeah. I believe in God's providence, but also you have to look at reality and do. The Lord gave us this thing right here. He gave us this thing to think through and to try to do the best we can. Yes?
There's a great marketing thing out now that says we buy ugly houses.
Yes.
So when you call him, you think your house is ugly.
Yeah.
You automatically want to take less money.
That's right. That's right.
It's a great business
Yeah.
ploy.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. It's great. Thank you. Okay. So pointers on buying a house. It is a house that you will make into a home. Buy with resale in mind. Don't settle for less house than you need. You will regret it. What do I mean by that? Make sure that the kitchen is large and well laid out. Now, we bought a house. It doesn't have a big kitchen. My wife reminds me it doesn't have as big a kitchen as she would like to have. The next house we have, the kitchen is going to be about half the size of the house. I hope. And it's going to have a basement because we're putting everything up in the attic, and we're getting too old to be climbing that attic stairs. Yeah, it's really rickety. So understand that the seller also that the realtor works for the seller. So kitchen and cellar. Financing your home. Shop the mortgage rates and possible hidden closing costs. Ask for a written estimate of everything from each lender. Purchase a home based on the income of a major earner, not two salaries in case one loses their job. Get a 30-year, now this is a deviation from what most people say. Dave Ramsey says get a 15-year mortgage. I like the idea of getting a 30-year mortgage with the possibility to pay it off earlier. Make sure that you pay it off in 15 years, but again, if one person loses their job, you're not trapped with having to pay that higher payment there. Consider adjustable rate mortgage, depending on the possible length of stay. David, our son-in-law and daughter, Dave has just analyzed that and finds that is better. But most people, I've been trained, my parents told me, buy one with a fixed rate. Okay. But you got to use this thing again to determine how long you're going to stay, and if you can work it out, praise the Lord. So here's also another creative option that Dave gave me, and I thought, I'm going to put it in here. He used this in one of his seminars that he gave. Secure a 30-year mortgage based on one income and take the money difference that you would have paid for a 15-year mortgage and invest it in mutual fund index stock fund. The rationale, it creates a cash available fund. So here you're paying off the mortgage on the 30-year thing, but you got cash. Also, you're building up. You're investing that. It's growing. Stock market hopefully is going up. And if need arise, if you have a death or a loss of a job or moving, you can take that money from there and you can apply it toward your mortgage and pay it off or pay down a good amount of it. So another interesting concept. I hope I got that straight, Dave. Maybe I didn't run this by you, and maybe you could correct it for me if I didn't say it right. But anyway, give credit to where credit is due. Just an interesting thought of creative way of how you can do things. More pointers on buying a house. Have an inspection done. When you sign the contract that you're going to buy a house, it ain't done if you do this. You get an inspection done. You find out all the problems that are there. And you say to the person you're wanting to buy the house from, you say, I need to have the carpets replaced. I need to have the air conditioner or whatever, as long as it's found in the inspection report to be defective. then you can use that as a negotiating tool, and you can bring the price down or get an allowance to cover that. We did that on the house we bought. We got a carpet allowance because it was old, it was all faded. And if they don't agree to that, contract is null and void. This is the phase 2 of a contract in buying a house. So do that inspection. Costs what? $450. Maybe more than that. Some of you may have gotten that recently, but it's worth it for this negotiating factor to find out what the condition of the house is. Make an offer. Check with the neighborhood before you make an offer for safety, for noise, lack of yard upkeep, traffic at different times of the day. Just check it out before you buy. A lady that I worked with, a divorced lady, she bought a house. She just bought what she could, didn't perhaps check it out thoroughly. It was a drug-infested neighborhood. The market went down. She was underwater with her mortgage. She owed more money than what it was worth. She let it go to the lender, and I think she paid maybe $140,000 for it. At an auction, it went for like $35,000. So check it out ahead of time and make sure that the offer pad is the advertisement on there. It's going to do everything for you and give you, offer pad is the company name. I saw the word offer there. Make an offer less than what the selling price is. They pad the price expecting a lower offer because it's a game, like car sale or used car sales or new car sales. If you're building, there's a whole nother set of rules to follow. And I'm not going to get into that. That's a whole nother thing if you're going to build from scratch. More pointers on buying a house. A one-level ranch has more selling appeal than a two-story. But a two-story gives you much more square footage. If you've got a large family, it's better square footage. Big houses. Ranch is a one-story, if you're not familiar with that. One-story. Ranches appeal to the elderly, parents, physically challenged. I'm all of the above. I'm elderly, I'm parents, physically challenged, mentally challenged. A basement gives more space at less cost, and it's a cool area, plus it's a storm protection. So we want a bigger kitchen and a basement than the next house. So you always figure out what you really want. That's our dream house. Maybe not the one on the left, but the one on the right, just the bigger kitchen and a basement. Maintaining a home. In order to preserve the value, you must maintain the property. Do your own maintenance if possible. Keep landscaping shaped and attractive. Mow, trim, fertilize, weed, drain, paint every 5+ years. I'm in the midst of doing that right now, trying to repaint our house. And a caulk. I'm a caulker. I like to caulk, fill all those cracks and caulk. Maintaining a house, monitor the roof shingles. You got to keep that in order. The maintenance things. Insure for replacement coverage, not actual value. Replacement coverage is, let's say you buy a house for $50,000, but replacement value, actual value says, okay, your actual value that burns down, we'll give you $30,000. Replacement coverage is taking today's dollars of materials and labor to build that house, and it may cost $100,000 to replace that. That's what you want. Actual value, they take depreciation off of that house too. Okay? Adding value to your house, be sure if you remodel, you're adding value. Kitchens, a kitchen especially, that's what women look for. Master bedroom, bathroom, exterior appearance, landscaping. If you can do the work yourself or some of it, it can save you big money. Pointers on selling a house. Now you're selling a house, make it appealing, give it the wow factor, fix eyesores, give it the curb appeal, make sure the grass is cut. Stage your house. What does staging mean? You're selling now. You're staging your house. What do you do? There you go. You make it. Now, is it good to have an empty house when you're selling it? No, because it's bare. All the marks on the walls and something you spilled and the carpet's going to show up. You don't want it bare. You want things in there, but make it simple so they can mentally put their things in the house. Staging, and get rid of this stuff. We love to take our stuff to our daughter and her husband because we don't want it. But put it in the garage or off-site storage. Clean the house. Nothing should be in the sink, on the table, in the boxes, in the hall. Get rid of the cute knickknacks all around the house. Because they go in and they're looking at all these knickknacks and all these pictures of your kids and grandkids. They want to put their things in there, so let them have room mentally to put their things in there. More pointers on selling a house. Make room for their furniture mentally to fit. Get at least 3 realtors to give you a proposal on how much they will what they're going to do and how they're going to advertise it. And get flyers. Flyers are the things that are outside where they can pick up and look at it, see what's in your house, and know whether they want to come look at it or not. Share, personal experience. So we were trying to sell our house in Montgomery. We didn't get 3 realtors. We did get 2 that sold in our area. One gentleman came by, and you don't have to get an appraisal to do this. They have a good idea of how much the houses are worth. So he says, okay, I would suggest selling your house for between $165 and $185. Just kind of keep that mentally in your mind. The next realtor, and he didn't tell us he was going to do very much. He didn't give us any specifics about what he was going to do. A lady came in and said, you know, you've got your house, it looks like a garden. You've got picket fence, you've got a little pretty shed in the back you built, and your house is nicely maintained, and the landscaping looks good. I would call it kind of a garden approach, and I'd use that as an advertising thing. And she says, I would suggest you list it between $205 and $210. $205 and $215, something like that. I forget what it was. My wife frowns at me whenever I tell you the wrong thing. But anyway, so we sold it. We went with her. She was going to have flyers in there. She said she was going to put it in this newspaper and this newspaper and do this. We sold it for $210, right at $210. So $205 to $215. We sold it at $210. Now, if we'd gone with this other person, $165 to $185, his high listing would be $185,000. What is that? The difference would be $15, $10, $25,000 difference if we got the very highest price there. So check with more than one realtor. We got that idea from an Adventist realtor here in town, Michael Field here in town. Some of you may have heard of him. But he said, check and see. It's really important to keep that in mind, to get quotes. Okay, understand that the sellers, that there are realtors that sell and that there are realtors that buy. So they have talents in certain areas. If you're wanting to buy, make sure you have somebody who has some construction knowledge that they can look and see, oh, you've got some of this hardy plank siding here that's replaced some of this wood that's in a class action suit. Well, I wouldn't have noticed that, but anyway, he pointed that out to us. The realtor works for you when you're selling. Some more pointers on selling. Understand that it's not an emotional thing. You've lived in there. Your kids have been born in this house. While you live there, they grew up there. It is not an emotional thing. You're selling this house. Be willing to negotiate by counter-offering, even if they make a ridiculous offer. So let's say you have it listed for $200,000 and they say, I'm going to give you $110. You say, I'm going to counter-offer with $190. Okay? They may be testing you to see how desperate you are to sell. Tell them you're not desperate. You're going to, and then they'll either quit or they'll say, okay, I'll give you $185. Okay, so a little negotiation going on. Make sure the closing date works for you. Sometimes we purchased a homeowner warranty. Some experts say that doesn't really pay, but I'm thinking people would like to know they have an insurance to cover a breakdown of the HVAC or the hot water heater messes up or the dishwasher messes up. They're going to get it for free. I mean, it's worth the $200 $350 or whatever it is for us. We found that to work. Okay, now we're going to switch into cars. Oh, this is the fun part. You want the one on the left? Oh, okay. What is that, a Maserati? Is that a Maserati?
Lamborghini.
A Lamborghini, yeah. I get them confused up because I don't really look at them very often. Lamborghini, okay. Now, which should be your first car or your only car? And again, this has they both have 4 wheels. They have a steering wheel. They have a trunk. Well, the one on the right has a big trunk. The one on the left, yeah, I don't know what it has in it. Yeah, it's probably more comfortable, yeah. I rented a Mustang, and please pardon me if I step on anybody's toes here. I'm just trying to share. I rented a Mustang. I thought, well, this would be kind of cool to have. That thing was very uncomfortable. It's like my feet were cramped up in there, and I said, "Damn, it's a hot vehicle, but it's just not very comfortable." Yeah. So buying versus investing. Investing is something that we plan to increase in value for future benefit. Buy houses, stock, bonds. They appreciate. They should. Buying is something that we think we need, that either we use, we eat, or loses value, such as vehicles. They depreciate. So the key word is investing and depreciate. So Consumer Report magazine says that in the first year, a new car will lose 22% of its value. 22% of its value. Better to invest than to buy. First thing I would do, so if I'm looking for cars, first thing I would do is ask myself, why do I need another or a second car? Sometimes we're saying we need another car, a second car. Is it because I'm tired of the old one? Is it because it is costing more to repair? Is it because I need something more dependable? Is it something I want because I want something sporty? Remember that this vehicle only depreciates. And then I ask, can I afford it now? What kind do I need? Then go to the next step. So is it something I want? Secondly, the second thing I would do is ask, once I rationally determine why I need another car, what kind do I need? And does that repair warrant replacement? You know, I'm always having the repairs, but if it's paid for, you know, maybe you want to keep it and just keep fixing it up. I don't know. Just that's something you have to consider. So now I'm going to switch to where, Bobby, the bag I had back there had the Consumer Report magazine in that. I don't know where it went to. Oh, it was on the table? Yeah. Okay, very good. That black bag.
No, the Consumer Report magazine.
Oh, okay, yeah. And you got, okay. So the Consumer Report, I said I'm not selling anything, but I sure want to promote something. I don't have the regular magazine here. Can you find a regular magazine? So the Consumer Report magazine gives you 12 issues in it. And when you get, what you get is the 13th book here. And this is a buying guide. And in the back of this, it costs $30 a year for this, and you can get an online version, but I like hard copy. Oh, I got my helper here. Oh, thank you, sweetie. Thank you, sweetie. This is, oh, she does such a good job. So this is the magazine here, and it covers all kinds of things. We'll get into that in the next section a little bit. But the buying guide here is worth it all. So let me just show you what this has in it. Here is a BMW. Now, BMW, that is a fancy car, a nice car, a car we would all want, right? Okay, well, there's my pointer. There's some key things here. Now, this symbol here, that straight up and down, means average, okay? The one up arrow means better than average. The two up arrow means much better than average. The down arrow, let's see, where's the down arrow here? Oh, here we go. The down arrow means worse than average, and the double down arrow means much worse than average. So now, if I were comparing this BMW 5 Series, and again, I'm not wanting to be critical, I'm just talking about if you have a BMW, that's fine. This one here says that the overall, well, first of all, it has the last 6 years. So you get a track record of 6 years worth of domestic and foreign cars. It also has 17 breakdown trouble spots for each of those cars. So it gives you all kinds of information to know whether that car is going to be a decent car or not. And then it tells you what each of these are, up and down and whatever. And this one is worse than average for 2011, much worse than average for that's the worst you can get for 2012. And remember that BMWs cost more. Repairs are going to cost more just because it's a BMW. And some of them require premium gas. And insurance costs. So you're paying through the nose for is this a perfect vehicle? No, it's the worst you can get. Now, and then it's only average the rest of the year. Now, what I like to do is go in here and find out, once I've determined what kind of car I want and what year I want, what year I can afford, I want to get one that has much better than average all the way across. And you know what those cars are? Hondas. Toyota Camry. 6 years of Toyota Camrys. 6 years of Toyota Camrys. And here, yeah, there may be one.
Ford F-150.
Okay. Well, I don't know. We'll have to check on that. But here in Atlanta, they have an advertisement of Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes-Benz says the best or nothing at all. Okay? I'm looking in here. It ain't so. It's like the BMW on some of the models.
Oddly enough, Kia, for the money spent, does very well.
Yes. But certain models and certain years are going to have that. So if you're not buying a brand new car, or if you are buying a brand new car, you've got a track record here. It's as worth your weight in gold. $30 a year for this magazine. We'll talk a little bit more about it.
And they rate new cars too.
Yes.
So if you are thinking you want to buy a new car, they also have that.
Yes. All right. So we'll move along here. So purchasing a car, this is what I do. Mentally agree that you will keep this car for 10 years or more, at least, and drive it 200,000 miles. Now, I had one person say, well, I'm going to drive it till it won't go any farther. Okay? Remember that the real savings comes after 100,000 miles. Get a larger one for safety and possible kid seats with large trunk and light car inside and out to keep cooler. I had what was the car? Acura Legend, a black car. It was a one that had been crashed, the rebuilt, or you had it rebuilt. Black interior leather, beautiful. Black exterior, Montgomery. You got in it, you could bake biscuits in it. My wife says, I don't like that car. Oh, it drove so nice. And it just really, and I think it used premium gas too. So we didn't keep that very long. Okay, purchasing a car after you've selected the model and the year you think worked for you, go to the Kelly book price and see what a private sale would cost. Now, you might not buy from a private sale, but at least, so it's the retail from a dealer, could be an auction, another auction, or a private sale. Kelly book price, KBB. That should be your goal, to come close to paying that price, not the dealer retail. Don't lease. No residual value, and it's more costly because you pay through the nose with renting, and you have no value to it afterwards. Buy a low mileage car. This is, again, my opinion. Buy a low mileage car, maybe still under warranty, 36,000 miles. A used car with high dependability, okay? I mean, you can't wreck one of these cars in 30,000 miles, almost. I mean, how much damage can be done to one of these highly rated cars? Decide a color that you'd like. And then go to Auto Trader for cars in your easy driving area. It gives you how many miles you want to drive. Preferably go to a major dealer. Small shops tend to buy and sell less reliable auction cars. You can get cheap cars there, but maybe it's got a cigarette burn or a couple of cigarette burns or some carpet messed up. And you're going to save money, but then you're going to look at it and say, oh, why did I? I'm going to see that every time I get in there. So might have mechanical problems too, yeah. Because that may be a flood car or something like that with the auctions. So you got to be extremely careful. And go to a major car dealer. Why? Let's see, do I have that on the next one? Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm going to go back here. If you're not savvy personally, ask an experienced friend to help.
I have a question.
Yes.
Now, when you're talking about buying a fairly new car versus one that's brand new, if you have to finance the used car, I think sometimes it's better to go ahead and buy the new one depending on what kind of percentage offerings they're making at the dealership.
Yeah. Again, put your pencil to paper and calculate what that is. This is just what worked for us.
Well, if you're paying cash for a car, definitely go used.
Yeah. Dave?
With the major dealer, go to the major dealer and see if they have not their selling one, like if it's a Toyota dealer, try to find a Kia at the Toyota. Or if you go to the Kia or BMW place, try to find the Honda or the Toyota. Because typically those are the trade-in that they're trying to move. They haven't sold it at auction.
That's right.
Get their money back from it because they're just getting it from a trade-in. And usually they'll give the best deals on that. And they're still good quality cars.
Yes.
That haven't gotten them from an auction.
That's right.
Which you have to be careful and steer away from.
That's right. You can tell Dave and I have been talking about this. And so you have the dealers have a reputation to maintain. The dealer that's selling auction cars, they don't have the reputation that a new car dealership has to maintain. If possible, buy from a dealer who doesn't carry that brand, just exactly what Dave said. Make an offer and knowing that they'll counter, know your limits, try to stay close to private sale. If it's a perfect fit, spend a little more. We went and saw a car, and it just looked good. It was in good shape, and from a dealer. It had been hit in the back, and they had replaced the trunk. And it didn't have the symbols on it, the Toyota Camry LE on it. I said, oh, okay. But I saw there was a little wood grain there, and we wanted to splurge and have a moonroof. That was our big splurge. Get one a moonroof, but it was a used car, so you don't pay all that new car thing. So anyway, we got it home, and I said, took it to a dealership to have something done on it, still under warranty. And I said, tell me, what kind of a car is this? So here's a Toyota LE, then there's a Toyota SE, the Sport Edition, and then there's the XLE. Well, it happened to be an XLE, so it's 2 models up. And the Dodge dealership didn't even know what it was because they don't sell that kind of car. So made a great deal on a car with that. Rely on women's intuition. Remember, she needs to drive it too. If the spouse goes along, agree that how you will respond. Neither should look or talk excited about anything. So what does that do? If you or your spouse says, "Oh, I love this. I love the color. I love, this is what we ought to get, honey." What do you do with your negotiation at that point? They're not going to negotiate because you've already decided to buy whatever they. So my wife and I go to a dealer. So I'm sitting in the car seat. I was just trying it out. I closed the door. I don't know why I sat in the car without her, but she was here outside and he was at the front of the car. I closed the door and I just heard him ask the question, "Well, ma'am, what do you think about the color of this car?" And so I had to ask her afterwards. I said, well, what did you tell him? She said, to me, it's just transportation. Not excited. Don't get excited because you ruin the negotiating power. Remember, some more tips on buying a car. Remember that most dealers make more money on a loan. Best to shop elsewhere for a loan. If you can't pay cash, try to keep the loan to 3 years. So there's your fill in the blank, 3 years. Then after 3 years, pay yourself in savings so that you can pay cash and negotiate a cheaper price next time. If you have low frequency of repair, you don't need a service agreement, which is a big money maker for dealers. I don't buy any service agreements. I don't buy service agreements for cars, for tires, for washing machines, for whatever. I don't buy any service agreements because I check it all out here first, and if it ain't good, if it's good, then I buy it and forget about the service agreements. Have I been burned? Yeah, I had one tire in my lifetime that blew out, a fairly new tire. It got a nail in the side and it wouldn't cover it. Okay, $100. Maintain your vehicle. You must do preventative maintenance for 3 reasons: to preserve the value, reliability, and safety. In reverse order. Safety is, I think, the most important thing. I like a little bigger car in case I'm in an accident, not the smallest car just for gas, save gas mileage, but reliability and preserve value. Change oil at the recommended time yourself with synthetic. So I've changed to synthetic. I get the Toyota original filters, and I change it myself. Make sure that the tires are worn evenly, balanced, and aligned. Up front alignment, you can go to Firestone. So I buy a car, and the first thing I do is I go to Firestone and I buy the lifetime alignment and wheel balance.
That's what I got.
10 years, 200,000 miles. As long as you keep that car, you can take it in every month if you need to. What does a wheel balance alignment cost? About half of that. So in 2 times I've taken it in. I've more than paid for that. Now, you have to understand, every time you take it in, they're going to say, Mr. Millburn, your engine filter needs to be replaced. You want us to go ahead and replace that for you? No, I do that myself. Thank you for noting that. Mr. Millburn, we also noticed that your ball joint is a little loose. Do you want us to repair that for you? No, I have a mechanic I work with. Okay, I take it away. I take the mechanic that I know and on a first name basis. Maintain the fluids, the filters, and the air related yourself. Antifreeze, oil, windshield wipers, change the windshield wipers, washer fluid, properly inflate the tires, change the engine and cabin air filters. Change the transmission fluid. I have somebody do that for me. Change the transmission fluid and brake fluids, spark plugs at least every 100,000 miles. Replace antifreeze every 2 years. Get a reliable mechanic for things you can't do. Wash your car when needed manually. I don't take my car to automatic.
One thing you're missing is timing belts.
Timing belt, yeah, if it has one. You can check and make sure you have one. Thank you. Yeah, I should add that here. Thank you for doing that, because I think the Camrys now don't. They're back to the metal ones now. So the chain, yeah. And I insure for liability, collision, and comprehensive regardless of value. So if my car is only worth $2,000, I still put full collision and comprehensive coverage on if I have a $500 deductible. I don't have $1,500 if I crash that car. So if I'm paying $50 or $100 a year, I insure it for full coverage anyway. Selling your car. Sell it when it's still running good and has a good value that you can honestly recommend it. And that's the key to driving it till it falls apart. I want to be honest. If I sell to an Adventist and I know there's a lot of problems, I actually write out all the problems. I have them sign the document. But I know this is wrong with it. Usually 200,000 miles, get the Kelly book price for private sale. Clean the inside and out of the carpet of the car. Clean the mats and just put preservative on the vinyl and the leather. Is that being dishonest? No. It's just spick and span that thing, make it shine. You want to sell it and make it look good.
It's curb appeal, right?
Curb appeal, there you go. Selling your car. Then I take that Kelly book price, private sale again, and I put it in the window of the car. So now they see Kelly book price, it's valued at $3,200. So let's say I pay, and you know, then I negotiate from there. Oh, I'll knock $100 off there too, since you're, yeah, it's got a little scratch here. I'll knock a couple $100 off. Okay, so now the negotiation is very simple. Accept cash only. May need to go to their bank. Always take a friend. So you don't want to go to the bank, especially ladies. Go to the bank. This is Craig's List kind of thing. You got to take somebody with you. Go to the bank, get cash, not a bank check or a cashier's check. It may be bogus. Go to the bank, get cash, and save $1,000 to $3,000 or more dollars compared to trading it in, and apply that to your next cash car. So I get this thing in the mail. I have a van, a Toyota Sienna van, highly rated, best. And I get this thing in the mail. It says, we'll give you $17,000 to buy your car. I'm thinking, wow, that's a lot of money. Well, or to apply toward a new car. Well, hey, that sounds good. So I say, okay, well, I'm going to go to Kelly Book Price and see what it's worth. Private sale, $20,000. Let's see. Would I want to sell it to them, or would I want to sell it to somebody for $20,000? I think I'll keep the $3,000 difference. So your new status symbol now, as Dave Ramsey puts it, is not the BMW in your garage, but a paid-off car, and eventually a paid-off house. Oh, what a relief it is. That is your status symbol. And I think that's the last, that's the last slide here. Now that we have looked at the elephants in order, the cars and the houses, we're going to go on to the other. But questions, comments? And he said we need a little more time. How much more time do we need? Can we get started on the next one?
10 minutes or so.
10 minutes. Okay, we might just get started on the next one in a little bit. But let's answer questions
My
here.
old boss told me the richest man in the world is the person that doesn't owe anybody anything.
Yes, yes. A classic example of that is, I have this old utility trailer, a homemade trailer that I bought for like $250. It's kind of rickety. It's got sides up on it. I can put dirt in it, a couple yards of dirt or whatever. And it doesn't look very neat, but I took it to Home Depot, my favorite store, and a fella came up and he said, "Oh, is this your pickup?" He had a nice brand new pickup, and I said, "Yeah, this is my pickup. I don't work with construction. I don't need a pickup. I just need something on occasion to do things." And I said, "And it's paid for." I was going to ask him, "Is yours paid for? Your fancy pickup? Is it paid for?" But I didn't. And I said, actually, the thing has made me money, because when I buy an appliance, I don't have to pay the $65 to have them deliver it to my house. I can just put it in there and take it home myself. So anyway, that's